on this episode of In the Fight.
We are beyond a surge of forces, and we are now into a surge of operations.
Operations Phantom Thunder, Arrowhead Ripper, and Martin Torch are just a few of the operations that have pushed the enemy to the brink, as the surge begins to reap huge dividends for the coalition and Iraqi security forces. The U.S. Army celebrates a birthday, and the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders take a huge leap of faith with the Golden Knights. DivitsHub.net presents In the Fight. We start in Samarra, Iraq, where two near-simultaneous explosions on June 13th destroyed two minarets at the Golden Mosque, one of the holiest Shiite shrines in Iraq. A senior defense official credited decisive action by the Iraqi government with helping to prevent the bombing from escalating into widespread sectarian violence. The incident occurred as the U.S. troop surge deployed to help stabilize Baghdad reached full force. General Raymond Odierno toured the mosque and surveyed the damage with Prime Minister Maliki. General David Petraeus said, "As we go on the offensive, the enemy is going to respond. The additional troops will give us the combat power to launch operations in al-Qaeda sanctuaries where there has been little coalition force presence in the past." More and more, the residents are expressing their weariness of al-Qaeda in Iraq, plus citizens are providing tips on suspicious behavior, pointing out the security forces, enemy hideouts, and placements of IEDs.
We are beyond a surge of forces, and we are now into a surge of operations. We have already begun attacking the enemy from multiple directions in ways that I believe he will not be able to resist. Operation Phantom Thunder is corps-level offensive operation that began on 15 June to defeat al-Qaeda insurgents and extremists, deny enemy safe havens, and interdict movement, logistics, and communications. It is an open-ended operation that will extend through the summer and will be done in conjunction with civil military operations to support political and economic efforts. It consists of carefully synchronized, simultaneous operations at division and brigade level to clear al-Qaeda, Sunni insurgents, and Shia extremists in, near, and around Baghdad. A vast majority of the Iraqis, and I'd say easily over 95%, of the 25+ million citizens want the same thing that Americans want: a safe and secure neighborhood in which to raise their family, jobs and schools, basic services and needs, a government that cares about them as a person, and most importantly, freedom to choose and live as they want.
In another of the many operations around Iraq, Martin Torch, named for the historic British-American invasion of French North Africa in World War II, is underway in the area north of Arab Jabor and along the Tigris River. Soldiers continue to clear houses and set up checkpoints to stop the flow of bomb-making materials and other munitions into the area. Multiple operations coordinated and carefully planned demonstrated the resolve to deny the terrorists safe haven. For every action, there is a reaction. But attacking al-Qaeda wherever they go and attacking their networks and damaging their ability to wage horrific and calculated violence is beginning to see success. General Rick Lynch emphasizes the continuing triumphs of Martin Torch.
The division that I'm privileged to command, Multinational Division Center, has been on the ground now for 90 days, and in those 90 days in our battle space, we found 4 enemy sanctuaries. Those places that the enemy controlled. He could store munitions, he could conduct training, he could prepare attacks to take into Baghdad. And now we have the resources available with the surge brigades to fight the enemy in those sanctuaries. So Martin Torch is all about denying the enemy one of those sanctuaries. And we're using all combat power we have available to work killing and capturing anti-Iraqi forces in those sanctuaries. What we're looking for is our primary task is to block accelerants of violence into Baghdad. And as we studied our battle space, one of the major routes is the Tigris River. And the Tigris River Valley was a place where Sunni extremists were using that route to take BBIDs and suicide bombers and munitions into Baghdad. So what Martin Torches allows us to do is to stop that route. And the Tigris River is one of those routes. So anything that's floating in the Tigris River now is enemy. We asked the locals, is anybody fishing out there? Is anybody using the Tigris River for commercial traffic? The answer is no. Anybody that's using the river is using it to transport munitions or transport accelerants of violence. So we're taking out all those boats as well. Martin Torch is focused on Sunni extremists, most of which have Al-Qaeda ties. So we're working Martin Torch against the Sunni extremist element. And we know that based on our intelligence. We know where their leaders are, we know where their networks are, and over the course of this operation, we're going to take away all those capabilities in that sanctuary. We have other sanctuaries we're fighting as well that have Shia extremists. So whoever's against Iraq, whoever wants to deny Iraq a democratic society, we're going to take out that enemy over the course of this next 90 days.
The fighting men and women of the 2nd Squadron, 1st Cavalry Regiment, 4th Brigade, 2nd Infantry Division from Fort Lewis, Washington, did not have much time to get settled into Diyala Province before jumping into action. Specialist Samantha Szorska reports.
Not even in Iraq for 30 days, and Fort Lewis, Washington's 2nd Squadron, 1st Cavalry Regiment has already hit the ground running. The new Stryker unit is working in the area southwest of Bakuba, known as the Diyala River Valley. Though the region is one of the most dangerous right now, they're not letting that scare them.
I got to tell you, there were some worries, but you know, the guys are jumping in with both feet and no hesitation whatsoever. The guys are motivated. I'm motivated, so we're doing good things. You know, it comes with the job, you know.
2-1 Cav has already been conducting operations with the resident unit, 1st Squadron, 12th Cavalry Regiment, and have even been out a few times on their own. Though their deployment has just started, the unit is confident in their mission and their goals.
I intend to continue the partnership with our Iraqi Army counterparts and continue the development of a professional Army, and then do our duty honorably and return home with a clear conscience and get back to our families.
Time will tell what's in store for the soldiers in the 2-1 Cav, but already they are off to a good start. Reporting from Khan Saad, Iraq, I'm Specialist Samantha Szorska. Task Force Lightning.
In Afghanistan, the fight against the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, and factional warlords continues. The overall NATO and International Security Assistance Force mission is led by the Allied Joint Force Command Brunsum at Brunsum, the Netherlands. The insurgency of the Taliban has been intensifying, especially in the southern districts. However, the command's recent success is partly due to the leadership of the Afghan National Army's General Halik. The 29,000 troops of the ANA and the 30,000-strong Afghan police force are fully equipped and trained and have filtered into the districts. The locals appreciate that their own have taken the lead role in securing their districts. Colonel Martin Schweitzer, commander of Task Force Fury, talks about the vast changes that have taken place since he was on the ground there 5 years ago.
The center of gravity is the population, it's not the enemy. We're trying to get the people of Afghanistan in the small villages and communities to no longer fall under the oppression of the Taliban and start working and looking towards their government for a better way of life. And over the last 2 years, in particular through General Halik's leadership, the Afghan National Security Forces, in particular the Afghan National Army, has been able to take a leadership role, and so they're now getting down there into the communities. They're now the first people that touch the communities and the villages within Afghanistan. Over the last year, there's 83 districts in the area, in Task Force Fury's area of operation. About a year ago, about 19 districts were in support of the government. In January, we had about 30 districts that were in support of the government. Today, after a series of ANA-led operations, we're about 60 of the 83 districts that the village and the community leaders and the district leaders look to their government for their answer versus the Taliban. There's a lot of work to be done. And I think that there's no other organization that better typifies that work than the ANA. You know, I was here 5 years ago when it was a developing organization, and now I'm back here today 5 years later, and they are out front, the most respected institution on the ground within these communities and villages.
Hey Boston, this is Captain Tim Maloney coming from Al-Assad, Iraq. Just want to wish you all a happy 4th of July. To all my family hanging out down in Dennisport, my wife Christina, my son Joey, love you guys. I'll be home soon. Go Sox!
Hi, I'm Staff Sergeant Virginie Davis with Task Force 3, Camp Victory, Iraq. I'd like to say hello to all my friends and family in Washington, D.C.
Hey, Lauren, just wanted to say hello to you, just let you know how much I miss you. Looking forward to talking to you. Sorry I haven't been able to talk a whole lot lately, but he's been kind of busy. But just, I love you. Give Peter and Lillian my love and kisses for me, and I hope you're doing well. Take care. I pray for you every day.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Iraq's beautiful, isn't it? Just want to say hi and miss you guys, and I'll be back in 6 months.
Coming up, In the Fight celebrates a birthday for the U.S. Army. And the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders take a huge leap of faith with the Golden Knights. Check out www.divotzhub.net for the latest accurate and reliable information from In the Fight.
There's strong, and then there's Army strong. It's more than physical strength. It is emotional strength. Not just strength in numbers, the strength of brothers. Not just the strength to get yourself over, the strength to get over yourself. There's nothing stronger than the U.S. Army, because there is nothing stronger than a U.S. Army soldier. There's strong, and then there's Army strong. Visit goarmy.com/strong.
You are in the fight, presented by divotzhub.net. Soldiers from Camp Victory in Baghdad, Iraq celebrated the U.S. Army's birthday in a very special way. Specialist Alexandria Corniero reports.
On June 14, 1775, an establishment was born known as the United States Army. The Army turned 232 this year, and some Task Force Marine soldiers decided to give the Army a present. 49 soldiers from across Iraq gathered at Camp Victory to renew their contracts. Specialist Thomas Evans tells us what re-enlisting on a historic day for the Army meant to him.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I mean, I was just expecting something in front of the battalion, you know, raise the right hand, say oath, and then handshake from battalion commander, sergeant major. But to be up here as the CG and the sergeant major is something you don't get to do every day.
The soldiers stood front and center as they swore in for another time. Specialist Bobby Adams tells us why she chose to re-enlist.
I like the military. I have a military history. My father was in the Marines. I have uncles in the Marines and Army that were in. I love the military, and I'm doing it for my kids and myself.
For the soldiers of Task Force Marne, this day will be a day they will never forget. Sergeant Major Kelvin Raybon shares with us his thoughts on how these soldiers will affect the future.
They are the backbone of the Army. They're the ones who are going to keep this thing going after I'm gone, after all these other great leaders are gone. They have to step up. They're willing to accept that challenge, and that's why they're actually staying in the Army.
Reporting for the 3rd Infantry Division from Camp Victory in Iraq, I'm Specialist Alexandria Cornero.
Just across the tarmac from Camp Victory sits the Baghdad International Airport. The Army Corps of Engineers have been giving the terminal a much-needed facelift. Troy Roland reports on the progress.
Imagine arriving into a new country and having to walk into this. If you're like me, I'd chase the plane back down the airstrip. Well, no one will ever have to worry about that landing in Baghdad, because this is the old terminal. And this is the newly refurbished terminal of the Baghdad International Airport. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers started the upgrade over 2 years ago. This updated terminal has the look and feel of any international airport anywhere else in the world. Alan Nelson, project engineer, says to produce this atmosphere, a lot went into the renovation of the terminals.
Marble floors, they were all rehoned and then repolished. The glass, there was a lot of damaged glass was shot out. I don't remember the numbers on that, but 400 or 500 paintings at least.
This airport links Baghdad to the rest of the world. And the Corps is proud to be a part of the engineers and construction workers who gave the over 1,000 passengers who travel through this airport daily the comfort they well deserve.
The passengers have it very nice now compared to what it was. Hardly any bathrooms would work, no air conditioning, very poor lighting. It was just garbage removal wasn't much. So the passengers now have a very good time of it as it did a couple, 3 years ago.
This airport is a beautiful testimony of what Iraq is becoming and what its future holds. Because of the improvements to the terminal, Iraq is now poised to receive first-class passengers well into the next century and beyond. Reporting for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Public Affairs Office, I'm Troy Roland.
We remain in Baghdad, where soldiers and sailors help rededicate an elementary school that they helped repair. Plus, the soldiers came bearing gifts for the reopened school. Specialist Jennifer Rooks reports.
Soldiers and sailors from the 151st Regional Support Group helped teachers and administrators from the Al Swaib Primary School rededicate the newly remodeled grounds in a ribbon-cutting ceremony. The renovations included building on 2 new classrooms and restoring water and electricity.
You can ask the kids here. They didn't like it because there is no power, there is no paint, even the classroom the shape of it wasn't good. But after they repair it, it's looked very nice and they feel comfortable.
They take a lot of pride in their work and the students they teach.
You feel very proud when you see kids in that age can speak other languages, like in English. And it's very important because it's an international language.
The sailors in the unit received donations from all over the United States to help supply the students with things like clothes, school supplies, and toys. Specialist Jennifer Rooks, 7th Impact, Baghdad, Iraq.
We head back to the United States just outside Dallas, Texas, where the Golden Knights parachute team visits the home of America's team. The famed Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders give a huge leap of faith to the U.S. Army's premier jumpers in tandem. Sergeant Scott Malone reports from Valley Ranch, Texas.
A 10-man contingent from the Golden Knights were welcomed by America's team and given a tour of the team's facilities in Valley Ranch.
It's kind of awe-inspiring to come in here and these almost like hallowed grounds when you see stuff like, Bob Hayes' uniform and Dandy Don Meredith and Roger Staubach, some of my heroes from when I was growing up, and it's quite awe-inspiring.
The Golden Knights were also given the chance to see the team's locker room facilities and even given an up-close and personal visit to 5 Super Bowl trophies in the personal office of owner Jerry Jones. But the main reason they made the visit was to tape scenes for an upcoming episode of Making the Team.
All right, DCC, how's it going, everybody? All right, great, you guys. Today's a very special day.
The team were introduced to the girls, and after a brief question and answer session, 12 cheerleaders were chosen to jump with the Golden Knights, including Trisha, a 3-year veteran of the team.
I definitely did not think I was going to be going skydiving at all. I don't know, it's kind of weird right now. That's not even, it didn't go through my head at all that that's something that we'd be doing here. Not at all.
The girls were then taken to a nearby airport, fitted with their own jumpsuits, and sent airborne for their tandem jumps. Among the first to land was Megan Fox and the cheerleading director, Kelly Finglass.
I didn't even have time to think.
Yeah, you don't have time to think.
Have
like,
time.
as soon as you walk up to the door, they're like ready, set,
and you
I feel
jump.
like,
I feel like
and you just kind of feel it. Like at first, you kind of don't know what's going on.
I feel like I've run a marathon. Are y'all weak?
The Golden Knights are planning another jump this weekend at the ballpark in Arlington with the Texas Rangers. Meanwhile, the scenes shot today for the upcoming episode in CMT's Making the Team are scheduled to air in September. Army Sergeant Scott Malone, Valley Ranch, Texas.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Jessica Kent in Camp Victory, Baghdad, Iraq. And I wanted to say happy 4th of July to the guys back in Boston.
My name is Master Sergeant Johnny Godbold, coming from you from Camp Arifjan in Kuwait. I want to give a shout out to my wife, Anna Godbold, my daughter, Nicole Godbold, all my grand, Corey, Christopher, Bree. I love you guys. I hope to see you real soon.
Hey, this is Lieutenant Colonel Dana Scott. I just want to say happy 4th of July, and I love you to my mother Elaine, and to my wife Grace, and my kids Brianne, Ren, and Seth. Have a happy 4th. Love you guys.
This is Lance Corporal Brent Williams with 8th Com Battalion aboard Camp Fallujah. I just want to wish my mother a happy 50th birthday. I love you, Ma, and when I get back, we'll make sure that we celebrate your birthday together.
Coming up next, we salute our newly decorated military heroes from the past and present. And we'll check out some of the best images from our huge archive as In the Fight, presented by DivitsHub.net, continues.
I was pretty nervous, apprehensive.
It was tough to tell them I was joining the Army at first. I did research on my own, tried to get an idea about what the Army was going to be like. It's given me a whole bunch of confidence.
But no, I'm very proud of him.
He's just a stronger, more driven individual.
He could outrun me.
If your son or daughter wants to talk about joining the Army, listen, you made them strong, we'll make them Army strong. Find out more at GoArmy.com.
In the Fight celebrates our military heroes. This month, we honor a soldier from a past war and soldiers from a present battle. We begin in Chatsworth, Georgia. Sergeant Stephanie Weideman reports.
Lieutenant General R. Stephen Wickham had the honor of presenting a Distinguished Service Cross to the family of Private Glenn Martin.
This is a day of remembrance and a day of gratitude. I came here today to honor a soldier, a 3rd Army soldier from 1944, who answered the call to his country.
Private Martin was one of 291 3rd Army soldiers in World War II to receive the Distinguished Service Cross, which is the second highest award that can be presented a soldier.
Private Martin helped secure a legacy for generations that day, a legacy for not only the men and women of Chatsworth.
The city of Chatsworth also honored the hero by naming the day after him, as it did 63 years ago. The 3rd Army tradition continues. Staff Sergeant Stephanie Weidman, Chatsworth, Georgia.
Last September, the Silver Star is awarded to any person distinguishing himself for extraordinary heroism, and the Soldier's Medal is awarded for any person distinguishing himself for an act of heroism not involving actual conflict with the enemy. 2 soldiers from the 2nd Battalion, 14th Infantry Regiment received these awards during a ceremony at Patrol Base Dragon. It is appropriate that we find the time, even in combat, to pause and award soldiers for the valorous and heroic actions. It is most appropriate to do this here, within the confines of this decrepit example of Saddam's failure as a leader to his people. Major General Rick Lynch, the 3rd Infantry Division Commanding General, was at the ceremony to present the soldiers with their new awards.
I've served our country for 30 years, and I got to tell you, the most important thing I have done and I do is recognize amazing soldiers.
11 other soldiers received medals at the ceremony. 3 of the soldiers were presented with Bronze Stars, and the other 8 soldiers received Army Accommodation Medals with a V device for valorous actions. Reporting for the 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 10th Mountain Division, this is Army Private John Cano from Patrol Base Dragon, Iraq.
DVIDS is a 24/7 operation that provides a timely, accurate, and reliable connection between the media and the United States military serving worldwide. Through a network of portable satellite transmitters located in theater and a distribution hub in Atlanta, Georgia, DVIDS makes available real-time broadcast quality video, still images, and print products, as well as immediate interview opportunities with service members, commanders, and local government officials. Everyone can visit our website at www.divitshub.net and search through our enormous video and still imagery libraries. Plus, family members might be able to sneak a peek at a relative in the area of operation in our Greetings from the Field collection. This month, we're featuring a special 4th of July greetings section. For questions or comments about In the Fight, you can email us at ondemand@divitshub.net. As we close, we feature some of the best still imagery that DVIDS has to offer as we listen to Mark Isham's Army Strong Overture. See you next time, In the Fight.